The history of this is a very talented man called Kevin Godley. He was Godley and Cream. He was founder member of 10cc. Did a documentary for the BBC called One World, One Voice, where he started a song in New York with Sting and brought it to various cities around the world, with various A-list artists and local musicians adding to the song. And there was a great kind of buzz about it. And he always felt, wow, it'd be great if this could continue. And why should songs be finished? I think are there any musicians in the room? Yeah. Like, which song makes the album? What mix makes the album? There's always, well, if we just had a bit more time. And he kind of felt that, well, why should songs be finished? Why can't they just constantly evolve? Like this song they started on One World, One Voice and took it around the world. And that was in the 90s. He did that documentary for the BBC to raise environmental awareness. In 2007 he went, wow, actually, with the internet, maybe this could happen. That we could create a platform where songs never get finished. They just keep evolving and going in different paths. And I think for a lot of musicians, that's really exciting, that people can add things that I never thought of. So they started trying to make it work in 2007, and it took till the end of 2011 before technology caught up with this great idea. And iOS 4 came out, and we were able to do it before that, but it took 45 minutes to render a video. And today we're living in the video age. You hear a lot of people or artists complaining about Spotify and Deezer and how, they don't make any money. There's so many platforms now selling what already exists, but there's no platform selling creativity, or monetizing sharing. And that's what we're trying to do.
So you say monetizing sharing.
Yeah.
That the sort of the Google, we had this discussion about monetizing data, which is what Google does.
Yeah.
Tell me how that sort of operates.
Well, basically, we've created a new product, I suppose, that artists can sell. It's a 1 month virtual recording session with them in a studio. And as I was saying, we live in a video age. Like YouTube dwarfs Spotify and Deezer. And YouTube, just a few months ago, stated that artists and labels make more money from fan-generated videos of their songs than from their official video releases. Okay? Now that's really, really fascinating. If you think about that for a minute.
How do they make the money that way?
So YouTube pay royalties to what are called the performing rights organizations. And that's another thing we did differently. From the very beginning, we said, well, look, we're trying to create a platform that will be a revenue stream for artists. I think the future of music is obviously live is a big part, but you've got to be able to collect little bits of revenue from lots of different services like Spotify, YouTube, and us. So from the get-go, and like a lot of sort of music services, we said we're going to be licensed from the very beginning. We're going to take rights management and licensing very serious. So that's how artists make money from videos on YouTube. So what we're doing is we're trying to make, and you look at those videos, and it's hard to do. You have to learn how to use iMovie or Final Cut Pro or whatever. To do something really good and creative is hard, yet they're doing it. So we wanted to create an app, and we're also working on a web version that an 8-year-old could make a great video with whoever their favorite artist is, or a 70-year-old could make a great video. Like we're in discussions with labels about their catalog. Would you like to do a video of yourself playing with Jimi Hendrix or, whoever your idol is? When I got involved first, I thought it was a brilliant idea. But I think one thing that I think you got to think of in startup land, talking to entrepreneurs out there, a brilliant idea is only brilliant if you have a team that can deliver it. that can make it real. You know, an idea is fantastic, but if you don't have a team who can work together and actually deliver the product, then it's never going to go anywhere.
So you said you technology caught up with you in 2011 with iOS 4. So where are you today? What can actually be done, and where are you in terms of that revenue model?
So we're very early stage. We only went live in November 7th. We've decided to go very softly. We didn't do a big launch. We want to do a couple of product iterations before we kind of start saying we're here. So we're very early stage. We're pre-revenue. We're not charging for the service. In fact, we're subsidizing the artists, because what we do is when you register at WholeWorldBand, you get about €7 worth of credit. And you can go and buy artist sessions and record with your favorite artist that's on the platform, and we pay the artists. So we're actually, you know, paying out to artists even though we're not making a red cent, because we believe in this. You know, it's really trying to really, I suppose, break down barriers. I mean, working in a studio was very closed with the artist, the producer. This opens it up to the fans. So artists can crowdsource. You know, we're talking to some really big artists, like artists with 60 million fans who actually want to release their next album on WholeWorldBand, have their fans create and collaborate, and then release another version of the album that's fan generated. Like, how cool is that? You can't get deeper fan engagement or deeper direct to fan than that.
Okay, so these are in the futures. What's going to keep you going between now and revenue?
What keeps me going is passion and belief. You know, and we're very fortunate. We have some great shareholders who believe in us, and who are backing us, and really very demanding. I mean, sometimes as a CEO, you feel like a punch bag. You know, you've got the shareholders on one side driving you. You're trying to keep the people working in the company happy. You know, it can be a very lonely place as a CEO because the buck stops with you everywhere, you know, and you have to let go of that. You have to find mentors. You have to find people that you can trust, that can help you figure your way out. I think, you know, to do something like a startup, you have to really believe in what you're doing, and you need the support of so many people to pick you up when you're down. I mean, there's some great pictures on the internet, you know, of the startup life cycle, you know, and it's the hype of excitement with this great idea, and then there's like so many failures, you know, when you realize you haven't actually a clue, you know, and the growth back up. You know, I think someone once said, you know, overnight success takes 15 years, you know.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying earlier on. 3 years is very, very quick.
Yeah.
Very quick.
I think determination, belief, and great people around you that also believe and help steer you through the sharks, because there's plenty of sharks out there.
How many people do you have in the company now?
19.
There's 19?
Yeah.
Okay, and when do you get to the next stage where you actually hit the revenue model?
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you.
Okay, that's fair enough. But I presume, okay, but it's probably, is it a critical mass type event as opposed to a time event?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, we've been really fortunate. I mean, we've had amazing organic PR. We had a 2-page spread in the Sunday Times Culture magazine, right? There are many artists who would give their right arm for that. We've no PR person. They approached us and said, this is really cool. We read about it in Der Spiegel, one of the biggest German online magazines. Deutsche Welle, which is like the equivalent of BBC World Service, did a 10-minute segment on us. We were filming the Kodo drummers in the National Concert Hall, who are going to be live on the platform soon. I mean, you know, there's so many cultural things that are good about this too. Like, I mean, I don't know if people know who the Kodo drummers are, but they're a Japanese set of drummers, and they do amazing stuff. So we just break down so many barriers.
How do you get there? Because one of the most difficult things for any entrepreneur starting up is how to access the people who will get them in front of the Kodo drummer equivalent of their audiences.
Well, I think we're very lucky. I mean, having a founder like Kevin Godley who resonates with so many musicians. You know, he is so creative. He's done such amazing music, and also like some of the most amazing videos for U2, The Police, The Beatles. You know, he's been one of the seminal creative forces, particularly in the video age.
Okay.
And he often says, you know, this really feels like, I can remember the start of MTV when we first started doing videos for bands, and no one was quite sure where this was going to go, but everyone kind of felt, this feels good. There's a vibe here, and it's the same with this. I mean, I was at NAMM there in January, and actually, we went to loads of music events and festivals, and no one ever says this is a bad idea. Everyone goes, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" You know. And that keeps you going as well.
Yeah.
You know, that feeds your belief that this is something good.
But you're not a complete and utter idiot. For
I'm not a
dedicating
complete... Like, I gave up a 6-figure salary in a, you know, multinational where I was doing really well. I grew our market share from 30% to 70%, got great bonuses and everything. And I left to do this. You know, that's nuts. You know...
Well, it's not, because without that type of belief, you're never going to succeed. You absolutely have to be one of the first things, and Peter will remember this.
I think it's more a sanity issue, really, than, yeah.
Well, passion and sanity, you know, they're closely linked. So, again, sort of wrapping up, what sort of are the key messages you will have learnt that you'd like to pass on to people?
I think passing on messages to entrepreneurs, it is tough. Make no mistake. I think the most important thing is to get a really good team around you. People who share your passion and belief, who are prepared to put their egos to one side and get the job done. Because at the end of the day, that's what you need. You know, you need people who can deliver. I think that's really important. I think the next most important thing is product market fit. You know, you have to be solving a real problem. And one of the problems we're solving is basically giving the power in music back to musicians and fans.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we're about. You know, we want to create a really massive platform. Like in NAMM, someone called it multi-track YouTube, which I thought was a great expression. Somebody else called it, all right, so what Instagram is to Photoshop, you are to Final Cut Pro, iMovie, and Pro Tools and Cubase. And maybe some of those things don't mean anything to you guys, but to video people and audio and musicians.
You make it easy to do tough stuff.
Make it really easy to do tough stuff. You know, open up that ability to make music, create videos with great artists, open that up to the masses. And it's interesting, actually, the biggest pull we've got is from music schools. Music schools are jumping on board because they're going, wow, you know, where would our students be able to create and collaborate on songs with the likes of Ronnie Wood or Dave Stewart or the Kodo Drummers or, you know, Passenger? You know, it's a great learning tool.
It'll be on Whole World Band. Thank you very much indeed, John.
Thank you.
Pleasure.